Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for being here Wednesday, December 3rd. Are your Jacksonville Jaguars AFC Title Contenders? That is the topic of discussion today. Usually, most weeks for like the last couple months, we've been doing a show midweek. Are the Jaguars playoff contenders? Are the Jaguars a playoff team? Well, the Jaguars, now that they're 8-4, they have an 85% chance to make the playoffs, according to most of the kind of different platforms around the web that do these percentile predictions and things like that, and then about a 40% chance to win the division. And that's not saying that the Colts have a 60% chance to win the division. Jags and Colts have about the same chance to win the division at this point, but you've also got the sneaky Texans creeping up who are surging right now. So we're going to get into it. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out genjag.com, pick up some new Duval gear. Help support the channel. Look good while doing it. So, like I said, 85% chance to make the playoffs, about a 40% chance to win the division. You are currently in first place in the division. 8-4, tie record with the Colts. We will find out a lot this weekend. Whichever team gets to 9-4 after this game between the Jags and the Colts. And by the way, the Jags are wearing their Prowlers at home. Going to be a raucous environment against the Colts, who have not won in Jacksonville in over a decade. But that'd be a hell of a time for the Colts to break that streak, for the Jaguars to fall flat, etc. But if the Jaguars get to 9-4 with the Jets up next in Jacksonville, you're probably going to be 10-4 with another game on the schedule against the Titans, a game against the Colts in Indy, a game against the Broncos in Denver. But not only are you going to make the playoffs if you beat the Colts, in my opinion, you will probably win the division if you win this weekend against the Colts, which will, again, probably, at worst, make you the 3 seed. Because I don't think that the AFC North is putting together a run at the end of the season that's going to get one of those teams past you if you beat the Colts this weekend. And if you take care of business, the Texans can't catch you. They're surging, no doubt about it. But if you take care of business, the Texans can't catch you. But, making the playoffs, winning your division, in my opinion, does not make you a conference title or Super Bowl contender. It just doesn't. Like, the answer to that is no. Does that make you a contender? No. Like, there's going to be a team from the AFC North that wins the division. Does that make them a contender? A true contender for the AFC title? I don't think so. In my eyes, not to bury the lead too far, the Jaguars are a very shaky AFC contender, title contender, in a very shaky AFC overall. That's where I'm at. And we'll look at some of the other teams and talk about them because we don't talk about teams outside of the division a lot here on the channel. The Patriots, they are good. They are a good football team. Soft schedule, though. Very soft schedule. But I don't care who you are. If you win 10 straight games in this league, that's like freaking wild. I mean, teams just don't do that. Like, bad teams do not win 10 straight games. And obviously no one's arguing that they're a bad team, but the question is, how good are they? To me, if they beat the Bills and the Ravens back-to-back, or at least win one of those games, that's something. But if they win back-to-back these next 2 weeks against the Bills and the Ravens, that would be 12 straight wins, capping it off against two teams who have been widely viewed as two of the top powers in the AFC over the last half decade. Drake May is incredible. They have pretty good weapons. Not elite weapons, but pretty good weapons. The defense is pretty damn good. They're well coached. I think they are definitely AFC title contenders right now. They're young. They're new. But they feel legit. They do. Again, projecting them as a true contender would be nice if they had some more top-notch wins on their schedule. But again, if they beat the Bills and the Ravens back-to-back, that says something. It absolutely does. So they're a contender, for sure. In the same division, you have the Bills. They're a good team, but flawed as always. But they're still AFC contenders. Josh Allen makes you that. They're still well-coached on both sides, in my opinion. I don't think that they're going anywhere, really. I don't think anyone in the AFC North, as I mentioned, is a true contender. Maybe if the Bengals had more time, they could turn into that. I don't know. But I don't see it right now. I really don't. In the West, I think the Broncos could win the AFC. I would feel very sketchy if I was trying to predict them to win the Super Bowl because, yes, they do have a great, great defense and a well coached offense. But I just don't look at the pieces in totality on offense and feel like that is a Super Bowl group. Could they make it to the Super Bowl? Yes. Do I think that they would win the Super Bowl? That would surprise me. But it's all about making it to that final game. If you can make it to that final game and you have a couple weeks to prepare for it and you have good coaching and talent, you never know. It would be wild for Bo Nix. The discourse would be unbelievable, though, if Bo Nix wins a Super Bowl in year 2. And I've always been kind of more on the Bo Nix side of the fence. Like, I think Bo Nix is pretty good. I understand he's flawed and he's a second-year quarterback, right? Obviously, a pretty old second-year quarterback. But we don't need to go down that rabbit hole too much. I don't think that he is on the same level as these other quarterbacks that are potentially AFC champions. Like Drake May is a much better quarterback, right? We can all agree on that. You look at Josh Allen, much better quarterback. I think Justin Herbert is a much better quarterback. I think Patrick Mahomes is a much better quarterback. I think Trevor Lawrence is a much better quarterback. So, again, looking at the West, the Broncos, they're going to win the West, and they are a contender. But I digress about Bo Nix and everything. The Chargers, I think they're potentially falling out. They just have a litany of injuries. Things are not going well for them. Losing your 2 starting left tackles is absolutely brutal. It is. The Chiefs, if they make it, which is a huge if right now, they are going to be as threatening as anyone, because you have the best game plan defensive coordinator of our, I mean, we can just say of anyone in the league right now. I think that's fair to say. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, all sorts of speed, a team that would have won a bunch of games in a row. So yeah, if the Chiefs make it, they're going to be as threatening as anyone. I don't think the Chargers are going to end up making it. And then you get to the AFC South. Colts, things are trending in the wrong direction. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. Sauce Gardner going to be out for a little while at least. DeForest Buckner still out. Don't know when he's going to be ready. Daniel Jones dealing with the fractured fibula. But, you know, for the Colts, a win in Jacksonville, a place you haven't won in over a decade, that changes the vibes real quick. As we mentioned, the Texans are surging. Their defense is unworldly. CJ Stroud is back. They've still got some weapons on that offense. Where does this leave the Jaguars? Well, again, as of right now, atop the AFC South and 3rd place in the AFC. And I think that's right about where they belong. I would say that they should be 3rd or 4th. Obviously, if they lose to the Colts this weekend, I would drop them down below the Colts. If they beat the Colts, I would probably have them right there at 3. I would have, you know, the 2 teams ahead of them with the best records, the Patriots and Broncos up there. And then it'd be kind of right now for me a grouping of the Jaguars, Bills, and Colts. Cream will rise to the crop. Jaguars versus Colts this weekend, or rise to the top. The Jags, they're still a team that can beat themselves. We've seen that a lot throughout the year in different ways, whether it be a left tackle that just can't win a one-on-one matchup, a quarterback that can't stop throwing interceptions, a offensive line that can't get out of their own way with penalties, a receiving group that drops the football too much, a defense that at some spots lacks some talent and can get taken advantage of a little bit, right? A pass rush and coverage group that isn't quite there. But I think you're trending in the right direction in pretty much all those areas. I really do. Trevor Lawrence has taken massive strides since the bye week. I don't think that there's any denying that at this point. He is like 11th in the NFL in adjusted completion percentage since the bye, which to me by itself doesn't say a whole lot. But his adjusted completion percentage, 11th in the league since the bye week, combined with the fourth highest average depth of target, is really impressive because the Jaguars are pushing the ball down the field. They're not like a deep shot team, but they're an intermediate team. They're hitting a lot of long 2-pointers to compare it to basketball. And when you can do that, live that way, you can pick up chunks of yardage. And you've seen since Jacoby Myers got here, since Brenton Strange got back in the lineup, the passing offense has really come to life a lot more. And Trevor Lawrence, since the bye week, has the third most touchdowns of anyone in the NFL. Third most. So yes, he is taking massive strides forward. The receiving corps is taking massive strides forward. You're hopeful Parker Washington is healthy. We're going to find out more about that today. You hope that Brian Thomas Jr. can kind of continue to ascend. I thought he had a good week this past week, but Jacoby Myers and Brenton Strange, very good. You have a good running game that I don't think it's like in any way, shape, or form elite at this point. It can look elite in certain weeks, but it's not one of those running games where it's like, we're going to run the ball on you no matter what. If teams really gear up to try to stop the run and they have the talent to do so, the Jags can be forced to pass, but they can usually take advantage of what you're doing if you're trying to stop the run in the passing game. So there's that. I think the offensive line is a little up and down. It's mostly pretty good. They had a tough matchup, in my opinion, just physically against Jeffrey Simmons and Devondre Sweat and some of those guys up front against the Titans. And Titans were, it's a big division rivalry. Titans were really trying to get after it. But I do still worry about left tackle. I worry about right guard a little bit. I think Robert Hainsey, even though he's coming off a poor performance, has been really good for the Jaguars. I think Ezra Cleveland's been really good for the Jaguars. I think Anton Harrison has been as well. I feel good about the offense. I do. I don't think it's an elite offense, but I think it's a good offense. Defensively, they've become pretty good too. They absolutely have, in my opinion. They rush the passer. They've been rushing the passer for the last month at a pretty high level. They've been creative. I mean, shout out to Anthony Campanile and shout out to Liam Cohen, obviously, and company designing this offense. Play calling has been very strong. Coaching, teaching has been very strong. Anthony Campanile on the defensive side, there's been like a rotating cast of cornerbacks this year. I mean, you started out with Tyson Campbell here. It's like ancient history now. And so you've had Greg Newsome in the lineup. He's been in and out a little bit. They put Christian Braswell in at times for him. Buster Brown has been pretty consistent since he got back. I think he's been a very good player for the Jaguars, even though he's limited athletically, but plays his butt off. The safeties over the last month have been playing good. I still think against a super high-powered offense that is a major concern. Linebackers are very good. Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluokun and Dennis Gardeck. That's a good trio of linebackers, and then you have depth there too. Up front, you need to get Trayvon Walker and Eric Armstead on that football field. If you do that, really good front. So if the Jaguars passing offense continues to excel, if the Jaguars don't beat themselves with unforced errors, if the defense gets healthy up front and continues to play at a high level, yeah, the Jaguars are absolutely AFC contenders. But again, there was a lot of ifs in there. They are shaky. They are shaky. I don't think that the long-term outlook is shaky. I think Liam Cohen and Anthony Campanile have this group going in the right direction. I think James Gladstone is really good at his job. But I think if you're talking about them winning the AFC title this year, winning playoff, I mean, that's going to require probably winning at home in the wild card weekend, on the road in the divisional round, and on the road in the conference title game. 3 straight wins, which the Jaguars, we've seen them win 3 straight games now. We've seen that multiple times this year. And they've won 3 straight games earlier in the year against the Texans, 49ers, and Chiefs. That's like a playoff. That's like a playoff run right there. They've shown the ability to beat AFC playoff teams. And now if they were in the NFC, I would not be calling them contenders right now for the NFC. I'll tell you that much right now. But you don't have to worry about the NFC until the Super Bowl. So, like, that's not an issue. But yeah, I mean, in the NFC, I'd be like, I don't see them beating the Seahawks, even though, I mean, they could, but I would pick the Seahawks. I don't see them beating the Rams for sure, even though they could. Again, the Panthers just beat the Rams and the Jaguars beat the brakes off the Panthers. So the NFL is wild. It's crazy. It's matchups. It's absolutely, each game is so much about individual matchups, weaknesses and strengths, what you can take advantage of from a coaching standpoint, all that stuff. But I think the AFC is weaker than the NFC. Does that mean the NFC is definitely going to win the Super Bowl? No, because it comes down to one game. Would I pick the NFC to win the Super Bowl right now? Yes. I would. But it's going to be fascinating. This is kind of where I'm at when it comes to the Jaguars and their chances. I think they have, if they get their together, they have as good a chance as anyone in the AFC. If they continue to beat themselves up a little bit, probably going to see an exit quicker than you want to. And don't count your chickens before they hatch. They got to beat the Colts this weekend, beat the Jets, beat the Titans one more time. If you do that, you're in a tremendous spot. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe, and y'all have a good one.